So your form identity relies on external things. You compare yourself to others, and according to what is most appropriate, you emphasize those aspects of your form identity where you are a little bit superior to others, and that's where the ego gets in and forms a mental construct. It could be the history of your family, as you come from a family, not so much in the new world here, but in the old world, to some extent, a little bit still in Europe, even more so in some more traditional cultures. You think back, you have your family history, your ancestors, and you have this long line of your ancestors going back, and they're all more important than the rest of the population. And you have come out of this long line of ancestry, and that gives you your identity. You might even have a title. In some countries they still have titles. So you grow up and your 10-year-old girl is told, oh, your name is Lady so-and-so. Oh. Now if you're trapped in that, to get out of that, not easy. You've been given that sense of specialness, and so the main core of your identity lies then in your ancestry. And it can have you in its grip until you're on your deathbed. And you never know that you are trapped in an illusory sense of identity. Now, most people don't have that, but they may have other things. They may have more possessions than others from their family. Or they may have achievements in that they came out of nothing and then they achieved this, that, and then they identify with the material achievements and so on, possessions. And that can give you a great sense of identity too. Never satisfying for long, that's the thing. There's always this element of unsatisfactoriness, of something really important is missing. And even if you have an aristocratic title, Lady Diana, for example, going back, she was not fulfilled by her title and her ancestry, which goes back hundreds of years, but was very unhappy. And this is quite normal. You have that identity, but you're trapped in it, and there's always in the background the unhappiness. And then, of course, you might have a body that's more beautiful than others, then you can focus on that, and that gives you a sense of superiority towards others. And that's temporarily a nice thing. And then as the years pass, a day will come when you look in the mirror and something has changed. That beautiful body has shrunk or expanded, whatever the case may be. I saw the other day in Sydney, walking along the harbour front on a beautiful sunny morning, pleasant, not hot, less warm than it is here, people walking. And there was one man who had taken off his shirt, and he was walking through these crowds of people. And the strange coincidence is that this man, of course, must have been so hot in this weather that he felt compelled to take off his shirt. But by a strange coincidence, he had the most wonderful physique. Extremely masculine, just very impressive. And many people looked, and some tried not to look, and just glanced. And you could see how satisfying it was for him to walk through there. So he was lucky that he felt so hot that he had to take off his shirt. And of course, there will have been other ego identities walking and looking at him who felt diminished by looking. It's normal for the ego. It felt diminished. And then looked the other way. I'm not going to look at him. So it's normal for the ego to feel diminished because it always compares itself to others, and then the ego sometimes tries to compensate. Again, you have to arrange your identity somehow. Then it tries to compensate for this diminishment, for example, by saying, But just a few thoughts compensate for the diminishment of the ego, and it's all unconscious thinking. For example, the thoughts go, oh, look at that beach bum there. I bet all he does is hang around the beach every day and surfing, not a thought in his head. Okay, that makes you feel better for a little while. If you're in your big car, you can feel superior towards others, and then others will look. But then there may be a man on a bicycle, he's looking at you in your big car, and say, look at this materialist. Whereas I am completely non-attached to these things. And I'm totally happy on my bicycle because I'm beyond these things. That's a very subtle, so-called spiritual ego. You can feel superior because you're more spiritual than others, not realizing that also is a mind-made sense of self, a mind-made identity. Amazing. And many people carry a very unhappy or predominantly uneasy, unhappy, complaining, insufficient personality with them, and that's who they think they are. Awful way to be, and nobody has taught them that ultimately is not who you are. That's the conditioning of your mind. And that is the emotions that also accompany the conditioning of your mind.